Personal storm experience this time was getting a little notice, probably half an hour, 45 minutes. The Weather Channel told my cell phone to ping me and have me look at it. I'm a pilot, so I've got a pretty good four-flight weather app that I rely on more than others, and I'm looking at a line like I've never seen before, frankly. It's something that you could not fly through. You could only fly over, and you'd have to be pretty darn high to get over it. And so I alerted the staff around here. It looked to me like probably our biggest risk was hail. When the tornado hit, I had about the same sort of experience, and on that one, I had just gotten in the car 6 days before, and so I drove it my 2.5-minute drive from office to home to park it in a brick garage, and so there was no hail damage there. Actually, we didn't have any tornado damage either. This time when the staff all came up and we were looking at how bad the cloud looked, I'd been on the phone with somebody from Ames, I think, that had told me, I'm looking at what was really dark, almost black, and now it's turning that really ugly green color. And, you know, having grown up on Lake Okoboji, I know that green color, and that's not good. So the staff all went to the back of the office, and we were looking through the window and could see the wind picking up really fast. By then, I knew it was moving 70 miles an hour. And then the window started to make a noise that was not good. It was not good for our safety. So I'd already said, hey, we should be down in the basement. And we have a safe room, literally has a huge safe in it, but also has no windows and is well protected. And so the noise got everybody's attention. So we got down there. This one, as opposed to the tornado, which seemed like it went by in about 2 minutes each cell. There were 2 microcells that hit our home. Once the one went by, then there's a gap, then the second one went by. This time it lasted a little bit longer, and it was doing more destruction while I was here. So I didn't go home to check it out. Didn't have to check out. My wife was down in Des Moines that day for a medical appointment. She broke her wrist. So I didn't feel compelled to get home and knew I needed to get down to the fire police station because that would be where we'd have the emergency set up. Like with the tornado, what is usually a drive that takes maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, took a lot longer. And I got to within a block of it, and there had been so much rain poured in such a short period of time that there was a car stuck in this huge puddle. Doesn't do it justice. It was bigger than that, and somebody was trying to help her get out of the car safely. So I had to drive another 3 blocks around to get to the fire and police station. And,
so what was going through your mind? Was it, why me, or or here we go again?
Well, the joke has been, you know, before you were mayor, we hadn't really had a tornado, we hadn't had a pandemic, we hadn't had a derecho. What the heck? You know, you're not going to run again, are you? So that's been the joke. And from being the mayor's perspective, timing is everything. And in my lifetime, I've been pretty good at timing stuff. Not this one. So it's been an interesting 2.5 years as mayor.
So how to go surveying the damage? I assume you did a lot of driving around.
I did not at the start, and I waited until yesterday to see Anson Park because I understood that was going to be the one that was hit the worst for tree damage of the 20-some parks that we have here. But I was able to get out to the airport to do the Riverside. I saw too much of Riverside Park because I had 15 loads of tree debris to take out there over the weekend to just fix up, take some of the stuff out of our backyard. And we still have about 3 times that left to go to move out there. Anyway, the survey of the town was done more by city staff. They're so organized this time. They already knew the grid. They knew what data needed to be collected and what matrix to get to FEMA. And we didn't need the help of FEMA this time because we knew what to do and who was good at it. And so I would guess the survey was done by our really capable city staff within 2 or 3 days to be ready to ship off to wherever it needed to go. So they kept reporting back in because we were having daily meetings with the emergency people, the fire, police, and and city and hospital and Alliant Energy folks getting together, and our emergency director made it to the first meeting. So we had a pretty good grip on the fact that this one didn't just discriminate and hit one quadrant like the last one did. This one got everybody, north to south, east to west. Hardly anybody was unscathed this time.
Seemed like the last one was commercial, this one's residential.
Last one was commercial in downtown Main Street, but northeast side of town got hit pretty good with the houses. This one is more residential, parks. The people that have the nice homes near Elmwood and off Lincoln Way and the bigger acreages, they're in a world of hurt with the number of trees that were lost there and how long it will take them to get those out. And so I immediately started getting complaints about the burn ban. And well, the answer is no, it's in place and you cannot burn. And if you burn this stuff, it's green, it's gonna really stink and smell and be toxic. And we don't have air conditioning in town for anybody right now unless you're lucky enough to have a compressor. So there are a lot of people with 90 degrees outside that are 90 degrees inside, and they have to have their windows down. And some of them are asthmatic and they have COPD. And my mother-in-law died of pulmonary fibrosis, so we were glad she died before this happened. This would have been really tough on her. Well, the virus would have been too, but the storm and if they were allowing burning would have been tough on somebody like her. So I know I've got a big target on my back now for the people that have big acreages and want to burn their trees now. So I've been getting some kind of testy emails and calls, and I've been getting testy back saying, no, there's a reason for this. The fire marshal at the state level says don't burn. My fire chief says don't burn, so I'm saying don't burn and quit calling me, quit texting me, and quit posting stuff on Facebook about it. Don't burn.
You want to say that again louder?
Well, I do, but I also want to say wait a week or two, because after the electricity is restored to enough people and maybe the temperature comes down a little bit and we're not, well, it's been so dry with the drought here, that was the other problem. Right. Any little wind and you're burning, you can start the whole town on fire. Right. But if the conditions are right, the fire chief tells me he's likely to be asking the city to then open it up and let people burn, and we'll figure out what hours and where and that kind of thing, and give notice to people that are asthmatic and have to leave town for the afternoon or morning or whatever.
I heard this morning that Cedar Rapids says they have 1,300 homes that are uninhabitable. I mean, does Marshalltown have a number on homes like that? Or?
We don't yet. I wish I had the city administrator sitting next to me. She's the brains of this outfit. I'm just the volunteer guy that has a full-time job doing other stuff. And so she knows, and they had it categorized by the likely to be destroyed, but severely damaged and now questionable whether they're going to have to demolish or can repair. And this time we've gotten better at placarding places, telling people they need to let the city know what are their intentions. Do they have insurance or not? Do they intend to stay there or not? And that kind of thing. I don't have those numbers. I heard them, but I didn't record them, and I don't have my laptop in front of me, or I might have had notes that could answer that question. Sorry. A lot. I know there were, I am pretty comfortable there were more homes affected this time and all over the city than last time.
There hasn't been a neighborhood that hasn't seen a power company truck.
Every single neighborhood was struck this time. We had the main trunk lines coming into town didn't make it, but it's a company, ITC I think is the initials, and I can't tell you what it stands for. They apparently own some of the major trunk lines, and the huge metal poles with the big circumference, those are theirs, and they had to get theirs up before Alliant could come in and do the lines from there to the rest of the grid of the town. And they're still working on some big ones. 6th Street was impassable, impossible and impassable for a while. If you saw it, the poles, some of the poles were at about a 30-degree angle.
No small pole either.
One was completely down. No, although they've been replaced by prettier wooden poles. I hope those are permanent because they look nicer. And God bless Alliant when they were going through doing the 13th Street thing a few years ago. They were going to run these big poles up there too, and some of the neighbors called me and said, oh no, can we do something? And the answer was yeah. The city can contribute a little bit of money. Alliant will give a little bit of a discount. The neighborhood association could come up with some money. Let's bury those lines. And we did. So if you drive on Summit and 13th Street now, you don't see those poles, and it looks better. And it was a nice collaboration between Alliant, which has been one of the true heroes here in the last 2.5 years, and the city people and the neighborhoods to get that done. And I know they're going around right now asking people for easements. Some are skeptical about giving an easement to bury cable or electric lines. Man, I'd sign that in 5 seconds. Where do I sign?
Yeah, stormproof.
Well, they are now. I admit, if we have an earthquake or some event like that, they're probably harder to repair the lines than if they're up on poles. But from a statistical standpoint and aesthetic standpoint, it would be way better to have the lines buried. I wish the whole town had gone that way.
Yeah, it's hard to go back.
You can't go back. But bit by bit, when lines come down, they have the opportunity to say, okay, let's do it now. I really wish we'd been able to have all the lines going to the courthouse under the streets that surround the courthouse. We just couldn't afford it at that time, I guess, as a city.
D. Brown of Alliant was quick to point out that a lot of these guys that are working for the power company, they don't want to quit at the end of the 16-hour day.
They don't.
We can get one more person, we can get 5 more.
And I heard her tell 2 politicians, U.S. Congress and senators in the last 48 hours, we insist that they go home because you have to be safe, but they work those 16-hour days, and nope, they want to go the extra mile because they know what it's like to have a home and not have electricity. They've been great. They asked me if I would, with the police chief, show up at the Alliant building where they have their confab every morning at 6:15 a.m. Do I look like a morning person? I am not. And so I had to get up at 5:15 that day, but I relished the opportunity to tell those linemen and women, the mix is kind of strange still. There are more women in the military than there are women linemen in Iowa right now trying to fix this up. But it was a great opportunity to tell the linemen just how much they meant to us last time, and we knew that, and we know it now. And same thing is true when they had that ice storm that knocked us out of electricity for 5 or 6 nights years ago too. They do such a good job. The president was over here again yesterday when Joni Ernst was here. He was here last week too. They stepped up immediately to offer generators to get the hospital up and running for sure. And then when we needed a cooling station, whether it was going to be at the college or at the Salvation Army, there's Alliant again with a big compressor generator making the offers. So they have been a really good corporate citizen for us here in town. Plus their plant out here is wonderful and it's run well. And it's that's one of the blessings of being in central Iowa and having the resources that we have here, is having a company like Alliant have a big presence here.
I think although you get complaints from some people about different things, people really appreciate their services more after something like this.
Yeah, well, those people that finally get Wi-Fi and or have it on their iPhones and like to nuke everybody on Facebook, they still are complaining. You know, like my neighbor has power and I don't. Now let me share a story with you.
The storm's all your fault.
Well, it's all my fault. Let me tell you a story about being the mayor and the strange calls you get. So it's more than a month after the tornado, and I get a call from the city. Let me put it that way. Gets word from 2 people. They're neighbors. One doesn't have power and is having to run a generator to have any electricity and keep stuff in the refrigerator and live, frankly, and is asking for a little more time because they think they can get the house repaired, family coming in and that sort of thing, or one of those church groups from Wisconsin is going to help them. The other neighbor is calling to find out why hasn't the city shut that damn generator down because it's spewing noxious fumes. His wife can't handle the noise, can't sleep as well. And it's like, well, sir, because they're trying to live too, and you apparently have electricity and a roof over your house, so just have some patience, please. And the same thing happened downtown on Main Street. You know, some buildings are needing scaffolding and workmen, and it's dangerous as can be for them not to have some of our parking area blocked off, and then other businesses that are open are mad because their customers don't have a good place to park right in front or right across the street. And it's like, oh, come on. When a disaster hits like this, just roll with it and be a good neighbor.
Like they're the only ones suffering.
Yeah, I'm convinced it's about 15% are the complainers, and 85% are the people with a good heart, and they're looking, where do I help next?
Yeah.
You know, the tornado on the Sunday after the tornado, we lost some really big trees here by our office, and my wife comes in. We have a bad habit of working every Sunday. Sharon comes in and tells me, "You've got to go chase these people away. They're cutting our trees for us." So I went out to talk to them. I had to tell them, "Hey, listen, we've got insurance. We've already talked to our tree guy. I love what you're doing, but please go to the next house that needs your work. We'll take care of ours." And it was just interesting to see. The age range was, I swear to God, the youngest was 5 years old. And I swear to God, the oldest was, if I'm 67, he was 75. Half of them spoke English, half of them did not. Most knew somebody there, but the whole crew it was a conglomeration of different people from different cultures, and all they were doing was helping out.
It's just what they do.
Yeah. This time, I'm out in my front yard with my work clothes on, and I'd worked up a pretty good sweat. I looked like I needed help. I had the chief of police drive by with his family, offering to go get his truck and help. I had our school liaison officer. He stopped. "I've got a pickup truck. Can I help?" I'm going to forget some of the people that called and checked in that day to just see if they could send a crew over and help out at our home. And God bless you. Thank you. Somebody else will need it worse than we do. My wife's sister and her kids and others, 2 sisters, and their pickup trucks were there helping us out. So, we had the family around here to do it. But it's a classic example of living in Iowa with Iowa nice, with Iowa people that just want to help. And so we've experienced that twice now in 24 months.
Good way to end it.
I have a new slogan.
What's that?
We're Marshalltown stronger. We marched on strong after the first one. Well, we've been through it. We're now looking, where can we help out with other people, because we have been through it.
Well, you got a whole staff that could be consultants to another city.
They could. Don't tell them that, because I don't want to lose them here. They're too valuable to us.
Adjunct.
I can't say enough. I do say as much as I can on my mayor's Facebook page about our city staff. But since you got the camera here and you're stuck with me as a talking head, I cannot say enough about what a good city staff we have, starting right with the city administrator, but every top level staff person. They all have homes. They've all experienced damage. They've all got kids that are worried about going to school. All those same issues, and now they're working overtime, and the top people don't get paid overtime, and they're doing it again, and they hold it together, and they're nice about it. They're good to people that need a little extra time. You should run for mayor if you want to get a good look at the kind of bang for the buck you're getting. And I want to say that now because somebody posts this negative stuff about the city staff and what they get paid and that sort of thing. I don't want them to be mayor because they should know better. And frankly, it infuriates me that they can sit at home or get on the iPhone and say those negative things. If they somehow fell into being the mayor or being on the city council, they'd find out that we don't get paid much compared to any other city our size as volunteers. But the city staff is absolutely invaluable here, and they do such a good job. And I don't want to lose a single person. We've got such good people at the city level. And I probably am in the best position to know if they're doing a really good job or if they're screwing up and who ought to go. And I am in a good position to know that. I don't want to lose one of them. We're also trying to hire more police officers. We're a little short there. Our fire people, they're just great. It's gratifying to be in a position of being the mayor, to know just how good we have it here in Marshalltown, Iowa.